In this video, we're testing out the new P6 pour-over grinder. Welcome, my name is Patrick Rolfe and this is Coffee with April. For this episode, we are testing a new hand grinder, which is came out of a popular demand on our Patreon account. And would definitely recommend to sign up there if you want to have a little bit more insight in all of the kind of detailed processes that is going on in April and a little bit more insight into these different kind of gadgets. The grinder is from 1Zpresso. We've used them before here at the channel. They had a few pro models that we've been trying out. This one is their new P6 grinder, and basically they have an older generation of this, and the new thing here is that they have more steps. So this goes up to 9 different settings with a total of 90 different steps per round or cycle of the grinder, right? The burr set is a 48mm stainless steel burr set, so not much has changed there. Overall, it's an interesting little grinder. One of the observations that we see often when it comes to these grinders is that they're now offering a very wide range of different grind sizes. But in reality, when you work with it, the particle size you actually need to work with, or the range of that, is actually kind of slim, right? So basically, we don't need 90 different settings, because with the doses that we're working with, which is often for 1 cup, 12 to 14 grams, we're only going to be within a very narrow range of particle size anyhow, right? So we tried a bunch of different recipes. We kind of picked it apart, which is, to be fair, really easy, which is nice if you want to clean it. And what we want to do now is just kind of share our favorite recipe. And in this video, we're using the April plastic brewer, which is a brewer that I often use when we work with slightly more acidic coffee, slightly more vibrant coffee, because it really emphasizes that kind of juiciness to the coffee. The one that we're using today is a wash-processed Kenyan coffee from a factory called Kainamui. Beautiful coffee, lots of red currant, lots of kind of gooseberry vibes to it. We're going to dose 12 grams of coffee. And this is ground on setting number 4, which gives us a particle size of about 760. Now, 760 sounds like a fairly large particle size, but if you look at the composition of that size, and it's always going to be a range, you can see that there's still a lot of particles in the kind of smaller ranges of size. And that's always going to be really important. And it's something that we look at a lot when it comes to comparing different grinders as well. So even if you, let's say, sit on a Comandante at home, right? I reference a certain particle size, and you calculated exactly what that is, right? You're trying to transfer a 760 particle size on this grinder on a Comandante. That's actually going to be really difficult to do because the spread of size you're getting on your Comandante is not going to be the same. So even if you're technically on the exact same microns, you are not going to be able to actually get that same TDS, right? So that's something you always have to consider. And when we try different hand grinders next to each other or different professional grinders, we do the same, right? So the first step is often to look at, okay, what are the microns here? Are they similar? Making sure that we're in the ballpark of that particle size. But then the next step is to then take out our refractometer, start to measuring all of that TDS as well to make sure that we get the right strengths within the range, right? Because in the end of the day, the important thing is how you achieve that result, right? And you can often achieve it in a lot of different ways, right? What we did here now with this brew is that we used the kind of classic April recipe, which is again 12 grams of coffee, 200 grams of water. We divided that into 2 single pours with a 94 degrees Celsius water temperature. The pours in itself are divided into 2 steps, so 50% in a circle and 50% in a center pour, right? And the second pour is done at roughly 35 seconds, right? Which each pour being 10 seconds. We all know this by now. If you want more details and kind of insight into individual, let's say, April coffees and recipes, you can always visit our website. We have a bunch of them as well, if you don't want to look here at the channel. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to let this drain, going to do a bunch of measurements and kind of get back to you with a little bit of a final thought on this grinder. So we're back, we tried the coffee and we kind of like it, right? I think even on the other generation of grinders that we looked at from the same brand, we like those as well, right? I think it goes without saying that they're able to produce really tasty cups of coffee. This in particular is a really easy to use grinder. I think that's one of the things that I really enjoy, especially the settings. It's really easy to see exactly where you are to navigate that. You don't have to take anything apart to adjust that grind size. That's something that I really enjoy. It's very easy to grind. I think one of the things to consider is that being up at 760 microns already on grind size 4 doesn't really give me much room to go coarser, right? So if we get back to the idea of 90 clicks and being able to go all the way up to 9, and I'm at 760 already on 4, I probably don't need much else that is above there, right? So it's always interesting to kind of look at that range. That being said, it's clearly a grinder that can make a good pour over, and that's kind of what it's supposed to be. And we find it to be actually one of the more interesting grinders that we tried in the world of hand grinders, right? Now, we all know that that's a very big world these days, right? There's a lot of new stuff coming. We're working on our own. And as always, we're very happy to hear what you think about this, right? So do you have a favorite hand grinder? Is it something that you haven't seen on the market, a function, anything in the world of grinders that you kind of want to see that could improve how you make your coffee, right? With that, we want to thank all of you for watching, and just remind you guys that we're taking this conversation over at Patreon. We also have some other interesting new projects coming up at April that the Patreon people already know about, right? So sign up to make sure you get the latest news. And with that, we just want to thank you for watching and have a good day. We want to give a special thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. It's because of you that we are able to continue to make these videos. And we want you all to feel free to always come with suggestions and ideas on the content that you want to see, because we are doing this for you and because of you. Thank you from all of us here at April.